Hey, what's up? Today's live stream is sponsored by Lister. Shout out to Avery and the Lister team. Appreciate you for sponsoring this live stream. We're just going to hang out and do a Q&A. I used to do these all the time. I don't believe I've ever done one this early in the daytime before 1 p.m. California. My standard slot back in the day was like 5 or 6 p.m. But basically, I would just hang out and answer any questions you guys have based around reselling or whatever you're up to. What up, Will? Will over there on X, formerly known as Twitter. But I figured I'll just hang out for a second and see if we can get some people in here, get some questions going. As soon as I start getting some questions, you'll get some answers and we'll have some content. But aside from that, I'm just waiting, hanging out, gonna answer some questions for y'all. How are y'all doing? What up, Joe? Joe. Joe's name is Joe something. I'd flip that. What up? How you doing, Joe? Do you got any questions around selling on Amazon or any questions at all for me, really? What's up, Sean? How you doing? How you doing? Welcome to the live stream. How long do you guys think it will take me to solve this invisible Rubik's Cube? I guess those are the green squares, huh? Matt says, is it normal Nike.com has had no sales for this entire year? Well, considering we barely just went through the first quarter, I mean, anything could happen. I'm not a huge online arbitrage guy, so I don't source a ton from Nike.com. You know, I do go there and check it out, but not enough for me to even have realized that there hasn't been, if that's true, that there hasn't been any sales on Nike.com. Let me just pin that comment real quick from Matt. But the good news is there's plenty of sales going on in the factory outlets. So get out there, get your retail arbitrage rounds in, and gather up some inventory. It's out there. What up, Seth? How you doing? What up, Seth? What up, Romel? Let's see. Ari Blessed says, hey, new here. Can I contact you privately? I have questions in a situation with an estate I need help with. Yeah, so you can shoot me a DM on Instagram. That's the easiest way to get at me. But you can also book a call with me directly. There's a link down here in the description, and you can book a call with me right there. Boom, link down in the description. Resell stuff says, I need another bolo like that Mr. Beast candy. Dude, they're out there. They're out there. That's why you need to join my Discord, right? Because stuff like that's not getting shared publicly, but it is getting shared in the Discord. Let me see. Priscilla says, I have a ton of brand new inventory at home, but ungated in none. Should I try to sell on eBay or get ungated for each item on Amazon to get experience? I think, Priscilla, you should sell those on eBay or wherever else, unless you're willing to hold out and wait. But I don't know how much inventory you have and how much, gold is at the end of that rainbow for you, because it's not easy or cheap to get ungated in some brands. So it's a process that's only worth doing if there is gold at the end of that rainbow. So if they are big brands that you're going to definitely want in the long term, right, because you see yourself selling them often, then maybe get ungated and then sell them on Amazon. I also have no idea of your cost basis, what you paid for these items, or how quickly you need the money back or whatever. Also not sure if any of you guys heard that cha-ching that just went through the soundboard right now, but that was me selling a t-shirt on Merch by Amazon, so that's always cool when that happens. But yeah, getting ungated for brands, like, just to put this into perspective, Priscilla, I never recommend anybody or any of my students from my mentorship program to purchase things that they're not ungated to sell with the hopes that they do get ungated in the future. Because, for one, we don't know how hard it is going to be to get ungated for that brand, right? And we don't know when you're going to get it done. And more importantly, we don't know what the price of that item will be when you do get it done, right? So it might not even be worth it in the long run. But you can't just get ungated for every brand, especially now with Amazon wanting, 50 or 100 or 200 or 300 units of some items. It's just not worth it. So what happens is when you buy things with that intent, it gets put into your death pile, and then you probably don't address it, right? Because other things have less friction, right? It's kind of like making listings on Amazon as well. Don't do it, you know what I mean? Unless you have a lot of inventory of that item or the single sale is completely worth it to you, just find other things, right? The Discord is $100 a month. You could find a link. Just comment here if you want the link, and I'll reply to you. It's also probably in my link in bio on Instagram or in other YouTube videos. This live stream doesn't have it in the description. Sorry. Matt Gilchrist, if you don't mind, what ballpark are your yearly sales? A little over 100 grand on Amazon, but you got to understand that's not my bread and butter. My bread and butter is YouTube, sponsorships, speaking gigs, and most importantly, the Reselling Academy, which is the mentorship program that I started in December of 2023. So that's another reason why I haven't been posting a ton of content on YouTube, because I'm focusing on my mentorship students. And so since December of 2023, we've had 125 students come through the program, and that takes my full attention. So I am talking to those students every day, all day. We're meeting twice a week on Zoom. Lots of hand-holding happening. Let's see. Next question. Also, how are you guys doing today? Just like let me know where you're at, you know, what you're doing today. What your name is, something about you, you know what I mean? Let's connect. Let's see. Here's a good one. Seth says, "Are you going to niche down on Whatnot or become an everything seller?" I haven't actually formalized my Whatnot strategy. I have a few different things in mind. One is Disney branded items, because I have a huge Serious Connect for liquidation Disney items. And I like Disney. I'm a Disney guy. We go to Disneyland. So I can authentically sell the shit out of that. That's pretty good for me. But also I have a very strong desire to do basically what Rinzi does on Whatnot, and to do like outlets to Whatnot, and probably going to start out with Nike shoes, just because that's very easy inroad for me, as I understand, you know, the products and where to source them. You know, I'm not like a sneakerhead, so these would be not hype wear, just be like regular stuff. You know what I mean? I would do like $50 starts or something, and I would try to keep my average buy cost under 35, something like that, right, for shoes. But obviously I would want to go into apparel as soon as possible, because people only need so many shoes, right? So selling apparel, I think, is a much better idea than selling shoes, because of what I just said, right? So there's that, but also I am going to toy with a little bit of the everything style, a little bit of the hairy tornado style, because I have access to a Goodwill outlet that's really good, and I can get all kinds of stuff from there, including books. So I also want to try used books on Whatnot and see what that's like, because I can get infinity like new books from the Goodwill outlet for 50 cents a piece, maybe $1 a piece. You know, I think actually less than $1 on average, because it's by the weight. And then, you know, do $2 starts or something. I don't know. Just very interesting to see what brings in the best results for me. And I don't know at this time. Right. So I'm going to test a bunch of different stuff, and I'm going to see what is bringing in the best percentage ROI or the best dollar ROI. And, you know, I'm also going to compare that to time involved with sourcing as well as streaming. So to answer the question, I don't know. I'm testing, but I plan on doing many, many, many Whatnot shows for the rest of the year. I would love to do at least one a week. I think that's my goal for now, is to do one a week. What is the items going to be? I don't know exactly, but it is likely going to coincide with YouTube content. So imagine going to the bins, wearing the GoPro, finding whatever, and then making a YouTube video about that, and then pushing that like, hey, if you want to buy any of this stuff, it's going to be on my Whatnot, you know, link down below to sign up. Kind of pretty much the hairy tornado model. Great question, though, because I don't know. Honestly, you could probably give me some advice. Let's go to the next question. Says, Did you get the Amazon email about Nike now requiring invoice with 100 units? I think they gated everyone. Yes, I did, and I already beat it and got the brand back. So a little backstory, they did this in November of 2020 of last year, 2024 as well. So I have been selling Nike for well over a decade. In November, I lost it overnight, just like everybody else did. I don't know if you recall, in November, they blocked everyone else out too, but I was still able to apply, right? So this wasn't like now where they send this notice, but I was able to apply and it only needed 10 units. So I got the 10 units and then got the brand back. And then basically almost exactly 6 months and 2 weeks later. So I couldn't use the same invoice. Not to mention that the new requirements that went out to everybody right now, I had that happen to me like 3 weeks ago, maybe almost 4 weeks ago, and it did request 100 units. So I purchased 100 Nike shin guard stays from soccer.com. Immediately after the invoice comes in, immediately after the order confirmation comes in, reply, ask for an invoice for record keeping purposes, and then do the dance with Amazon, sending that to them and going back and forth, and them saying, oh, we can't accept retail. And I'm like, it's not retail. It says the word invoice. Look at that, blah, blah, blah. Nobody at Amazon knows what the hell is going on. So you have to fight and battle with them. And ultimately, I think what works the best is for these types of situations is submit everything, to the T so it fits perfectly. But then once they start automatically denying you, that's your opportunity, because then you get on the phone and you call them, and obviously you pull out a play Amazon rep roulette, right? So if the person who gets on the phone sounds like a sack of shit, hang up, try again. When you get someone, you want to get them to pass that call on to their boss, sometimes known as the in-house team or the captive call center. And then when you talk to that person, you're still not asking them to get you approved. You're just asking them to help you solve the problem of no humans are looking at my documents. I meet the requirements, but humans aren't looking at it. What am I supposed to do? I'm a frustrated small business owner. Help me, right? And when they say we can't do that, you say, I'm pretty sure you can. Can you please just try? And just be very, very insistent with them. Also, several of my students in the Reselling Academy had the same thing happen to him, have got it back. Others are still in the process right now because, as you guys know, they don't send these notices out to everybody at the same time. Let's go. Seth helping entrepreneurs. Okay, for sure. So the plan is to create content around sourcing stuff for Whatnot and then get that on YouTube, which will be the announcement, right? And the idea for me for selling on Whatnot is twofold. For one, I feel like it's a really great business model, especially if you have the personality to be a live streamer. And on top of that, no other business model will let you turn capital as fast as Whatnot. I could literally go buy a couple $1,000s worth of stuff today, sell it on Whatnot this afternoon or evening, get it all packed tonight or tomorrow, and then repeat the next day or the next day. Like, it's very... I'm not saying it's easy. It's hard work, but it's pretty simple, right? Because once you've sold 1,000 items on Whatnot, they give you daily payout. And my hopes with creating Whatnot content is that it will do well on YouTube, similar to how my Instacart content did over the pandemic, right? And I didn't foresee that happening, but it was cool because I help people make money with Instacart, which it's a little bit easier than trying to figure out Amazon, if you're not an entrepreneur especially. But maybe that gets you out of your 9-to-5, or at least gives you a cushion, and then you figure out Amazon. But I had tons and tons of people that came to me through the Instacart content going viral, and then were like, wait, this guy's talking about this Amazon thing. And then they figured that out. You know what I mean? So this is just part of me orchestrating a strategy to trick people into becoming resellers. Evil Reezy mode. Airy Blessed says, are you on Facebook to DM you there? You can DM me on Facebook, but Facebook is the worst place to contact me. I go on there the least out of anything. Twitter, I'm on Twitter excessively. So if you can DM me on Twitter, or if you have just say, hey, Reezy, I need to send you a DM, and then tag me, and I'll see that on Twitter, and then I'll follow you back so you can send me a message or whatever. That's also cool. But just Instagram me. You know what I mean? Or even just put it as a comment on my most recent Instagram post, and just make sure you @ Reezy Resells so I get the extra notification or whatever. But also you could just go to reezyresells.com, click on learn more, and then you can just schedule a call for free. So I'm not saying my time's free, but if you need to talk to me, let's figure it out. You know what I mean? Let's see. Matt says, do you know how to edit broken listings, especially shoes or clothes variations that break into dozens of orphan listings? I've asked around, and it seems to be something that people do, but allegedly nobody actually knows how to do. So that is a complex process that is a little bit too hard to like explain here, and it's different depending on what category and stuff. So generally you're going to do that using a feed, a product feed upload. That's the way that I've done it in the past, and it's not easy. So half the time it works, the other half the time it doesn't, and I don't know why, and then I have to contact the catalog department and have someone help me with that. So honestly, that kind of falls into the same category of buying things that don't have listings, because it's so not impossible. It's just, it takes time, especially to make a good listing, right? And so sometimes when I'm buying, you know, to sell on Amazon, let's say I'm buying a shoe and I am scanning the shoes, and like, if you don't scan them all, you might not know that like the size 7 or 8 doesn't show up. The other ones show up, but the size 8 doesn't show up. And so I'm not going to buy that shoe because I don't want to have to invest time into creating that listing. I'd rather just buy something else. Do you know what I mean? It's the same kind of thing where, yeah, you don't want to do it. It's going to take way too much time, right? So also, like, sometimes when imagine you're scanning shoes, right? And there's different sizes, and let's just say they all come up, but, you know, I don't know, most of them have a rank that's tremendous, like, you know, 30,000 or less, top 1% or better. But like, you scan size 9 and the rank's 450,000. It's the same exact shoe, but for some reason the size 9 is on a different listing that has a way worse rank and a way worse sales count. I'm not buying it, right? Because it's a pain in the ass, right? So sometimes you buy it and then you have to clean up later, and which means like, hey, get Amazon to handle it. But like, if it takes you a week to get that handled and you're going to go buy more inventory in that week, just exchange that pair or that item, right? Or sell it on Facebook, or I mean eBay, whatever. Let's see. Oh, here's a great question from Priscilla. Priscilla says, if you're not buying before you are ungated, how do you pick what to get started trying to get ungated in when starting your retail arbitrage? So here's the answer, Priscilla. There's over 100,000 brands on Amazon that you can sell, and there's over like 30 to 50,000 that have been in like the top 1% that you can sell recently, right? So unfortunately, when you ask yourself, what brand do I want to sell or scan, those brands that you think of, the first 10 to 25, those are all very huge brands that have spent a lot of money on marketing and protecting their brand, right? So those ones, they're also high target for counterfeit for the same reasons, right? And they put a lot of pressure on Amazon to stop the counterfeit, or maybe under the guise of that to keep the supply lower so the prices can be higher or whatever. And unfortunately, as a new seller, you're just not going to be able to sell a lot of those brands. And it's also not wise to spend a lot of money getting ungated in those brands with the new requirements of being like 100 units plus, God forbid, 300 units. Even if you find something for $5, which is unlikely, especially for a bigger brand, unless you find like a keychain or something, that's $500. Right? That's a lot of money. And so what you need to do when you're new is you need to just scan an entire store. And I know it sounds daunting and overwhelming, because it is, especially when you don't know how to scan efficiently. But you should be scanning items at a rate of like 50 to 100 in an hour. 50 to 100 items per hour is how fast you should be scanning when you're doing retail arbitrage. And you might not find anything every hour. You might find one thing. You know what I mean? The more you do it, the faster you get. But the reason you get faster is not just because you scan faster and analyze data faster. It's because you develop a sixth sense for not only what aisles to start in, but what brands to scan in each aisle, and specifically which ones you can skip. Does this make sense? Right? So if you do not know, just go to a single aisle, right, or a single section of a store, and preferably start with the things you know about. Like if you're a personal trainer, start in the activewear If you're a chef, start in like grocery or pots and pans. So I have a student in the Mentorship Academy, Janet. She did over 100,000 in her first 12 months selling on Amazon, and she is a personal trainer. So I'm not surprised that most of the things she sold at first were like yoga pants, leggings, those types of things, right? I have another student, Andrew, Chef Andrew. He's a chef, right? So the first things he sold was food and pots and pans, right? So you can leverage the things you know about to help you, have a better, in way into a certain category. But overall, like, we're also looking for things like, imagine if you're in the bra section scanning bras and they are all $9.99, right? You're at Marshall's or whatever. But in that aisle of bras that are all $9.99, you can see the retail prices on those items. And some of them are $19.99, and some of them are $39.99, and some of them are $59.99. So logically, we're going to scan the ones that that have an MSRP of $59.99 first as a priority, because buying for $9.99 when the retail price was $50 has a higher margin, has a higher opportunity for us to have some wiggle room, right? And the ones that were MSRP $19.99 and we're buying for $9.99, we're probably not even going to touch those, right? We'll skip those, right? But if you don't know, you don't know, right? So just scan, and through the process of organically doing this, you learn over time. You'll learn brands, you know what I mean? Even a man with no experience in makeup and health and beauty can become an expert after scanning thousands and thousands and thousands of units, right? So think about how many units you're scanning. If you can scan 50 to 100 items in an hour, in a full day of 8 hours with 2 hours of driving and 6 hours, you should be able to scan 300 to 600 items, right? If not more, right? It's just a numbers game. What up, ATL Flippers? What's good? Shout out to RakinProfit.com, the original OG. Shout out Rakin. Everybody loves Rakin. Look at this. ATL Flipper says, Whatnot has changed our lives. Can you extrapolate on that a little bit if you're still here? Also, guys, please like the stream, share the stream, do all of those things you're supposed to do. Also, side note, I am looking at YouTube right now, and the colors look crazy. Does it look crazy to you guys or no? I'm on my screen, my preview screen here, but I just looked down the actual YouTube stream, and it looks like solar ray LSD mode. Can you guys help me out with this? Am I tripping? I'm about to refresh this to see. Hold on a sec, guys. Oh, wow. So it is broadcasting in solar burning mode. Is it crazy solar mode right now or what? Let me know, guys. I need some feedback here in the chat. This is wild. Why would it do this? This is crazy. I'm going to take a picture. Good thing I'm recording in 2 backup sources. AirZG says, look normal to me. Crazy. On my side, I'm looking in the YouTube feed right now. So my preview looks normal, but my YouTube feed looks like the Predator scope. Like, do you know what I'm talking about? Like a heat map. It looks wild. I just got to close that. That's just too much for me to look at. That's distracting. What's up, Jay Flack? How you doing? Don't give me no flack. Also, big shout out to Listister for sponsoring today's live stream. If you guys want to get a 30-day free trial of the best Amazon listing software known to man, there's a description down there. 30-day free trial. What other software is giving you a 30-day free trial? Nobody. But you know what? I asked for it. I said, Avery, you got to give me a special deal for my people. So that's what we got you guys. 30-day free trial. So if your listing software is not, cutting the mustard right now, you should check it out. AirZG says, do you still mess with Merch by Amazon? And yes, I do. I still mess with Merch by Amazon. So actually, I've been increasingly messing with it more frequently lately because of the updates with the AI image generators, right? So ChatGPT is now borderline just crazy with how good it can generate images. So it's even easier to make t-shirts. And what I did right away was I went into my catalog, right? As soon as I realized how well it can generate shirts, graphics, and text now, like text is really good. And it could even generate it on a transparent background, which is crazy because that means you can throw it right into Merch by Amazon without even having to edit it because they let you place the PNG in Merch by Amazon now. Super duper wild. But the first thing that I did right after I realized it was go through my catalog and just show me all my top selling shirts like for Infinity. And then I went after everything that sold like more than 10 units in the last year. And then I had my my VA remake those using ChatGPT and then took those and then put them back up. So very low effort. I mean, I also did the same thing with ChatGPT with my YouTube thumbnails. So ChatGPT thumbnails, super good. Get a bunch of thumbnails edited, use AI to help you, and then put them back on YouTube because YouTube lets you do 3 thumbnails per video now so that you can ABC test them, which is super duper dope. Let's read this comment from the ATL Flippers. Yes, selling on Whatnot is faster for us than selling on eBay. We don't make as much per item as eBay, but since we buy abandoned storage units, we can sell things faster and make more money than eBay. And I think that's the thing with Whatnot is the turnaround. You're not going to sell. I mean, then again, you might sell some things for more than you would on eBay, but generally you're probably going to get a little bit less. However, you're going to sell it like 10 times faster. What other platform do you know that you can sell an item and as soon as you print the postage, you can send the money to your PayPal basically instantly. And then if you have a PayPal debit card, you can spend it instantly. Like literally there's people that are buying and selling stuff before they buy it. You know, they're literally streaming from inside the store and then printing the labels to PDF on their phone, getting the cash from the live show sale, and then using the PayPal debit card to make the purchase of the items that they sold from inside the store. And I'm not just talking about Goodwill Outlet. I've seen people streaming from inside of Target and Marshall's. And I'm probably every single store known to man because I'm not on Whatnot enough to have a well-versed, like, you know, knowing what's going on. I'm just there casually doing research, you know? So, I mean, it's insane. There's everything you could think of on there. How do you start as a noob? No experience, no background. M.A. Leo, good question. So your first step is going to be to set up an Amazon seller account. You need to go to sell.amazon.com and register an account. Go through the identity verification processes. Get the Amazon seller app, start scanning stuff in your house, start familiarizing yourself with how to use it, understanding what sales rank is, how to list items, how to price items, how to ship items to customers, you know, start making some mistakes, start with your own used stuff if you have. I always recommend people to start with used books because it's the easiest way to start. A lot of us have some used books in our possession that we don't need anymore, and you can use that to learn Amazon and also make a little bit of money to get going. But the thing that's cool about books, even if you go source them, you're paying $1, $2, $3 a book. If you make a mistake, who gives a crap? Just throw that book away. But if you're going into much more expensive stuff, even just $10 items or $20 items, you know, God forbid 30, 40, 50, it's a lot more money, right? So starting in a category like used books and starting with your own stuff specifically makes it a lot less risky. But just get set up, get the app, start scanning stuff. I call it shopping your house. Go around your house and start scanning like a madman with the Amazon seller app and start, you know, identifying, you know, how to use the app. You're going to have to go hit up the YouTube University and watch some of my videos or somebody else's videos, but you'll figure it out. It's easier than you think. And the most important step is to just start. Just start, right? Start. Be committed to starting, because if you're not committed to starting, you're just going to be, I talked to someone on an exploratory call for the mentorship program the other day, and they told me that they've been plotting on selling on Amazon for 2 years. They've been thinking about it. Don't do that. This is not that hard. Selling on Amazon is not that hard that you need to think about doing it for 2 years. This is how hard Amazon is. You can become a relative expert in 3 to 6 months. There's not a ton of things in this world you can become a relative expert on in 3 to 6 months. All right? It's not as hard as you think it is. AirZG says, I'm still bringing in 1,000 a month. Haven't touched it in years. Need to get back on it. Bro, get back on it. Especially if you're doing 1,000 a month. That means you're way better than me, right? So more of your designs are successful than my designs. I think I have like 8,000 designs and only 1,000 of them have ever sold or something like that. It might be even worse. It's like 10% or less of all the designs I've posted have sold. So I'm pretty sure that means you're doing better than me. Junkman says, hey, what's up, bro? Hey, like, you know, Miles Morales, like, hey. Was it that kind of hey or nah? ATL Flipper says, how do you use ChatGPT to make thumbnails? Great question. So you can come up with ideas, right? To like, you can basically just talk to it like it's a genius for like composition, coloring ideas, text ideas. Then you could ask it to generate some mock-ups. Generally what happens though is it's not very good at making a picture of you, even when you give it a good example. And I know you've probably seen viral things where it made perfect pictures of people, but those are famous people that YouTube has gazillions of references, or ChatGPT has gazillions of references on to look at, right? So it's easier for them. So for me, I mean, it made a white guy with glasses and a hat and a beard, you know, but it wasn't me. And so at the very least, I would swap my head in there, and I would use another AI to just take that transparent image of my head and make it match the lighting of the thumbnail that ChatGPT generated. So ChatGPT will generate a thumbnail, and then I will ask it to remove the body, right? Or just put the head on it, but I'll first take the head of me, and then I will use another AI to get it to match the lighting and the coloring, and then put it in there. But ultimately, it takes like 3 minutes instead of taking me like 30 minutes to an hour as far as like the assembly part of the thumbnail. Great question. CD says, is it possible to make a full-time living reselling stuff on Facebook Marketplace? Anything's possible, bro. But that one specifically is 100% possible. Think about, well, first of all, I know people that are doing it, right? Like I know people that are doing over $1 million a year on Facebook Marketplace. The thing that's crazy about Facebook Marketplace is it's still super early, right? There's hardly any fees. There is this thing that no other real marketplaces have, is that Facebook has so much data on us as like social users, and you'll just be on Facebook and it just throws stuff at you from Facebook Marketplace. Like it knows that you looked at, you know, a chair, or you said, we need to get a new couch, or like whatever. So now you're seeing ads for couches, but also Facebook Marketplace postings for couches. You know what I mean? Like it also works really good for sourcing too. So if you source from Facebook Marketplace to sell on other marketplaces, including Facebook Marketplace, honestly, just taking better pictures, writing better descriptions, waiting longer, it will start throwing stuff at you. Like if you buy a few turntables off Facebook Marketplace, when there's turntables in your area, they will just pop up on your Facebook feed. And it doesn't cost you anything as the person who posted that to get it to populate and show up in people's feeds. You see what I'm saying? In the future, it probably will, but now it doesn't. So yes, short answer, yes, get on it. There is so much possibility, so much possibility. Here we go. Here's another one. Craigslist Hunter. Shout out to the OG Pete. Craigslist Hunter just resells stuff. How does he do it full time? If you know of that channel, who doesn't know of that channel? You got to be under a giant ass rock if you don't know who Craigslist Hunter is. So he has a pawn shop. I'm pretty sure he has a buy, sell, trade pawn shop. I'm not like I don't watch a ton of YouTube, you know what I mean? But I did meet the man in Chicago at the reseller rally. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, he's a OG, you know what I mean? He sources, he goes out, sources, goes on trips, but also he has inventory coming to him through his store. So his content, I would say, is more like Pawn Stars or so, something like that. But huge respect for the man, huge respect. He built that business, off his sweat and blood, eBay, Craigslist, exactly. Craigslist hunter, right? Because he was hunting for things to sell on eBay from Craigslist. Let's see. You were very inspirational. I appreciate it. Watched lots of your videos. You helped me start. Any suggestions on how to network to have some camaraderie to help start out with? Tried Discord. It confused me. So Discord is a little bit confusing if you haven't used it before, but it's essentially just a chat room on steroids, and I don't think that, if you know how to use your phone, you should be able to use Discord. And that's just such a great place. Facebook groups are also huge. So, and not just for reselling or Amazon or eBay or whatever it is you do. Like, seriously, if your pastime is taking Rubik's Cubes apart and turning them into 3D art, there's probably a Facebook, I didn't mean to rhyme, but there's probably a Facebook group for that, if you feel me. Like, Facebook groups are the hidden gem of Facebook. You can find so many like-minded people. You might even find people near you, through that. You might have a local entrepreneur community. You might have people who are resellers that are near you, but you won't know until you go into these groups and start talking and, maybe go to some reseller meetups. Business conferences are huge. Miami Sellers Conference is a little over 2 weeks away. If you guys are anywhere near Miami, you should absolutely be going to the Miami Sellers Conference. I'm going to be there speaking. I will happily hang out with you. We can go to lunch, like all of the speakers are accessible. You're going to learn a lot, but most importantly, you will network and meet other sellers. And business conferences are an education expense. So it's not like it's free for you, but you save an equivalent amount of whatever percentage you would have paid taxes on that. I'm not an accountant, so don't quote me on that. But all I know is that you could be going to the Miami Sellers Conference and meeting someone who will help you make $10,000 in the future, right? From a very simple meeting, like you can meet people online and become really good friends, but it takes longer and it's harder. In person, you can't fake who you are in person. And if you meet other resellers in person and they vibe with you, you know what I mean? You just speed tracked your way into that network. You know what I mean? So if you have an opportunity to help another entrepreneur, specifically help them make money, you should do it because that's the universal language of entrepreneurs. If you help me make money, I'm going to help you make money. You don't have to ask me to pay you back. You know what I mean? How's the signal, by the way, guys? Because I'm getting like a little Wi-Fi notice here, and I'm just curious. But I mean, for example, you might go to a reseller conference. Someone just spoke about Caleb Roth, the book flipper. You might go to Miami, and he's going to be there, right? I bet he's golfing either the day before the conference or the day after the conference. This would be the Sunday after the yacht trip, or this would be the Wednesday before the Thursday, Friday event. And he is such a nice dude. I guarantee if you hit him up, just DM'd him and said, hey, coming for Miami, are you planning to go golf? If so, I'd love to pick up a round with you. Boom. Now you're spending an hour to 2 hours, or I don't play golf, so I have no idea how long it takes, 3 hours, 5, I don't know, whatever. You're hanging out with Caleb Roth playing golf. You're coming out of that with peak knowledge. You know what I mean? Like, you got to get yourself out there. You got to get yourself out there. You know what I mean? Talk about what you do. I don't mean like shoot yourself in the foot. You don't need to tell the stores where you're buying shit from what you're doing. But don't be afraid to talk to people, because not talking to someone, like I sold only used books, CDs, and DVDs for a decade. Why? Because I didn't talk to people, because I thought I was James Bond and I was maintaining this secrecy shit. You know what I mean? But as soon as I started doing YouTube, I inadvertently began talking to people, and I gained the respect of other sellers who knew more than me at the time, right? And they would recommend their friends and people, hey, you want to do Amazon? Go fuck with Reezy. He'll tell you how to do it. You know what I mean? But ultimately, those people respect me and reached out to me and would be like, hey, Reezy, how come you're not selling Lego? How come you're not selling Nike? You could sell clothes, and I didn't even know you could sell that stuff, right? So it's like, You could get one contact from one person that could make you so much money. And even you guys might have seen the video that I made about mistakes, I made when I started. I lost over $10,000 my first year selling on Amazon. So I didn't lose 10,000, but I would have made 10,000 more had I not made this mistake, right? So one person told me one day after I had been selling for over a year, like, hey, Reezy, you're a pro merchant, right? And I was like, pro merchant? Yeah, of course I'm a pro merchant. Who wouldn't be a pro merchant? But I didn't know what pro merchant was at that time. I just felt really stupid and didn't want to get outed to this person who was like 55 or 60 that I thought knew way less than me. Then I went home and figured out I had been paying $1 for every sale for that whole year that I didn't need to pay. And I sold over 10,000 units that first year. So that was 10,000 down the drain that I could have learned just from networking. I could have saved just from networking with one person. You know what I mean? So I think we're way more scared of people taking our cake than we need to be, because the upside of networking and meeting other sellers is tremendous. CD says, is it better to try and sell stuff for free on Facebook Marketplace or pay for boosting your listing? It's kind of like eBay, right? It's becoming more pay to play, right? So you don't have to run promotion on eBay to sell stuff, but if you sell regular stuff, I think you should. Because if you sell stuff that other people are also selling, you all are competing for the same traffic, and if they're promoting it and you're not, they're going to win. But if you're selling more rare stuff that's not listed very often, that you're okay with waiting longer and getting the higher return on the sell, you know what I mean? And there's not as much competition for this type of item, there's no reason to give up money, in promotions for that item, because you're increasing views of an item where increasing views doesn't actually lead to sales, because there's just not that many people looking to buy that item, right? But if the item or items you're selling does have a lot of people looking for it all the time, and meaning you have more competition, then the promotions are more important for you. Junkman says, I'm going to sip expensive whiskey with Caleb. Sounds like a plan to me, man. If you bring that man a bottle of nice whiskey, or anybody, like, this is back to the networking talk, you know what I mean? Amazing. I actually bought Chris Grant a bottle of some alcohol. I forget exactly what it was, but he did me a favor, and I was like, dude, thank you so much. Like, what's your favorite bottle of whiskey or whatever? And he doesn't even drink, but his wife does, and he told me what it was, and you better believe I bought a bottle and sent it off to them. And when you do those types of things, especially when you do them without expecting anything out of it, your upside is tremendous. People remember people that bring them gifts. Like, don't come empty-handed, you know what I mean? Like, not only don't come empty-handed, spend half an hour trying to figure out what you could come with in your hand that would have the best return, meaning when you give the gift, they know that you did your homework. You know what I mean? Like, think about when I went to see Gary Vee and I brought him a vintage sealed New York Jets Monopoly, right? I didn't just bring him some random shit. Wow. This is a crazy one. So CD says, I've been reselling 925 Mark Sterling silver jewelry off of AliExpress and reselling it on Facebook for much more. I'm unsure if it's genuine 925 or not, though. Could that get me into trouble? It could get you into trouble. I don't know what kind of trouble, but I would reason that more trouble if you were knowingly selling non-sterling stuff as sterling stuff. Then again, it's expensive to take people to court, and how much money are you making off these people, and have you had any bad feedback yet? I don't sell jewelry, but I would imagine there's a tool that can test to see if they actually are 925 sterling. I would recommend getting one. But also, that's a great question for ChatGPT. If you guys aren't utilizing ChatGPT to expand your knowledge and answer basic questions like that, you definitely need to be. The free version of ChatGPT has your back so hard. So hard. What's up, Freeway Flippers? How are you guys doing? ATL Flippers says it's better now. What were you talking about? I'm curious. Hopefully not my signal, because I'm piped on Ethernet right here. I'm piped, pause, on Ethernet. So hopefully I don't have too much troubles. The quality is good, right, guys? The audio's good. The video's good. We're stunting. My color combinations here are proper. Shout out Listister, the best listing software for Amazon, known to man or alien. Oh, Priscilla, you got to go. Priscilla, there's a link in the description right now to grab a ticket to the Miami Sellers Conference, and make sure you use code REEZY50 to save $50. And I will see you there, right? So like when you see me, say what's up. Don't be shy. Like I'm happy to sit by you or go out to lunch. Like I love connecting with people and spending time with the people that come out to these things. It's a great time. This is a great question. Let's see. Tariffs in China. You think Amazon FBA from China to USA is still a good idea? I think anything that's profitable is a good idea. I also think that the tariff situation is very, very tricky, and you have to play it by ear. You know, we got tariffs, we don't. Pause tariffs, who knows, right? I saw an update today that China said that they would be willing to come to the negotiation table, but only if the USA speaks of China with respect. So that was a weird demand that they made. And I don't know if Trump's going to be able to pull that off. So who knows? But what's important to know is that if those tariffs are affecting you, right? Like importing stuff from China, they're affecting everybody importing stuff from China. So the prices are going to go up, like regardless. And so I do think that if you have an importing business from China, you might need to start thinking about more creative ways to get your products. So, and a lot of this stuff might be like, I don't even know if it's legal. I think it's legal to, instead of importing from China and paying a lot of tax, to import your Chinese stuff, let's say to Canada, and then have Canada ferry it over the border and pay a lot less import tax from Canada, right? I'm pretty sure. And I think a lot of that type of arbitrage stuff is going to be happening more and more too. Like, for example, if prices in America are going to go up for Chinese imported goods, then maybe we should be ordering those same goods from other countries that don't have tariffs, importing them into the U.S., which makes it a gray market product that then we can then sell, because there will be margin between, like, for example, Australia, buying it from Australia because I think they have 0 or very low tariffs with China, and then paying to import it. And then I don't know what our tariffs to Australia are. I can't imagine they're very high, mate. But maybe that works out. I'm not a private label seller, and I'm not an importer, so I think that would be a much better question for someone who does private label. I am very hopeful, though, you know, with the tariffs creating more demand to create products in America, to bring the prices up in America so that American-made goods are more profitable, and also just to scare the shit out of all these countries so they come to the negotiation table and give us better trade deals than we had before. Also, let's not talk about politics too much. CD said he made $1,000 profit, but it's taken like 2 to 5 months. It's way better than no profit in 2 to 5 months. Danky Drama's Best, I like your name, says, what do you think about tactical arbitrage? Tactical arbitrage is one of the industry standards for online arbitrage sourcing. There's no tool as robust as tactical arbitrage. It can scan a vast amount of products extremely fast. You can import lists of products. You can do reverse searches. That being said, you got to understand its purpose as a software tool. Tactical arbitrage, yes, it's helping you find products and make money, but its forte is in bulk scanning shit very fast and like a vast, large amount of data, right? So that being said, there's going to be mismatches, there's going to be all kinds of errors, and everyone else is using the same tool to scan all of the same stuff. So a huge part of that is still getting to the sites that are having the sales and building, you know, your profit into your cost and sourcing and searching them quickly, like right after the sale starts or even before the sale starts, and carting it. So after the sale starts, you can just check out. You don't have to spend time sourcing like everybody else, right? So, but tactical arbitrage will always miss stuff that can only be found by manual searching. So just understand that it's not a manual tool. It's like an automatic tool that, it brings a vast amount of data and you can go through it quickly and find winners, right? So I'm a big fan of manual sourcing as well. And I do believe that in the future, there's going to be a larger mix of tools that are a hybrid between tactical arbitrage and something like OA X-Ray, which is a tool that doesn't exist anymore. There's actually a new tool called Quick Flips. Shout out Quincy, small company. Quincy started a software called Quick Flips. I believe it's QIK Flips. And unlike tactical arbitrage, you don't search, robust and bring all the results. With Quick Flips, you go to the page that you're like where you would look for products like on the clearance section of Nike.com or whatever, and then you run the Quick Flip scanner and it scans the items you can see on your page and draws boxes around them. You see what I'm saying? So this would be the equivalent of like wearing a VR headset and walking into Walmart clearance aisle and having the VR headset just highlight the products that meet your criteria and go and grab them off the shelf. Now, of course, you still need to do your homework and make sure you can sell it. It's not a mismatch, blah, 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 blah. But two different types of tools for the same purpose, helping you find online arbitrage opportunities. But because they operate in different ways, it's not apples to apples. And a lot of professionals are actually using both. So just be aware of that. Let's see. Irie Blessed says, I've been trying to find a local reseller in my area. In this area, people don't follow up, leave you hanging, or want it dirt cheap also because they want to sell it. I'm curious what the first part of your question made me think you were trying to network and meet up with people, but then the back half of your question kind of tells me like you've been dealing with some people bullshitting on Facebook and you're trying to sell something. So if you could clarify that, I would really appreciate it, and I'll be able to answer that better. Yeah, so I'm not an expert on Facebook Marketplace CD, but if you've gotten 2 1-star ratings so far, I would imagine you probably deserve more that people don't know about. So might want to just up your game there, I recommend you actually trying to get authentic stuff, and getting get a tool. There's got to be a tool. So I'm just going to Google this right here. Sterling silver detector tool thing. Sterling silver tester. It looks like you can get it for like $20, and I think you put a little, scrape a little bit, put a little drop on there, something like that. Just scrape it, come out of there looking like a laboratory chemist. People are still buying regardless, yeah, because most people probably aren't reading the feedback. I would just say, man, you're treading on ice right there. Treading on ice. You can't tread on ice. You're treading water or you're on thin ice. One of the two. You're treading on ice. This is what happens when you live stream, guys. You say stupid shit like you're treading on ice. Magnet scratch, then acid test. See? Junkman knows. Junkman knows. Isn't there something about mustard too? Junkman? I seem to remember something about mustard. Using mustard, like you could get have a packet of mustard and you could there's something about mustard to identify silver. CD says, what's the issue though? If it makes money, they don't know who I am or anything. One, if they're actually fake, you're a scumbag, right? Because you're ripping people off and you should have a hard time sleeping at night. Two, you could lose your opportunity to sell at all on Facebook. 3, Facebook is the #1 marketplace where they do know who you are. So like if you have a Facebook account and it's not verified and like they don't know, like it's not your real legal name, then it's very easy. Someone can report you. If one person reports you as not the person who you say you are, Facebook will require you to show federal identification to prove you are who you say you are. And if you're not and you can't, then you will lose that account forever. And I know because my original Facebook account my name was Reezy Resells. And I had that account blown the fuck up before some snitch reported me. And then I couldn't legally prove I was Reezy Resells because there's no person named that, right? So I had to make a real account with my government name. You know what I mean? Junkman says maybe the mustard for removing tarnish. We're coming up on an hour here, guys. So if you have any more questions, please, just drop them on me and let me know. Also, if you're interested in, me being your mentor and you learning Amazon, I have a mentorship academy. There's a link below for you to qualify and see if you can work with me. We meet twice a week for an hour as a group. You also get a 2-hour onboarding call with me and an exclusive course I created that has 100 videos just to take you to your first $10,000 month on Amazon and beyond. We have a private academy on school platform community, and also you get access to my Discord for a year, which is crazy, especially if you're already in the Discord and you're seeking mentorship. So if you want to get started selling on Amazon, join the program. I actually care about the students. You get direct access to me. We are texting all the time. We're spending 8 hours a week on Zoom. The Zooms are recorded, which means there's hundreds of hours of previous calls. Basically, if you want to succeed on Amazon and you think you need help, I'm here to help you and guide you, and I guarantee that you will be successful if you do what I say. I can't guarantee how long it will take because it's very much a leading a horse to water situation, but if you want it and something's holding you back, I am here to release the floodgates and send you into your future. Because I know after doing my academy for the last year that the only thing that stops people from succeeding is their desire. So if you have the desire to actually make it happen and you can afford to work with me, it's not free, right? Then you will be successful. I don't know how long it will take you because it's on you, right? But I've had students that have done 100,000 from zero experience, zero sales, 100,000 in their first 12 months, probably 20, 30, maybe 40% profit. And I've had students do it in 6 months, right? So it just depends. Everybody is different, but the opportunity is still there. Also, Walmart is becoming a bigger opportunity. More and more people in the community are also selling on Walmart and Amazon, and we have all that knowledge in the community as well. So like in the Discord, for example, there's sellers that have been with me for 3, 4, 5 years and have learned from me and are now doing over $1 million a year in sales as a single person retail arbitrage operation. And it's still possible, right? A lot of people want to say the ship sailed, but it hasn't. Amazon is still hugely possible. Is it harder than it used to be? Sure, everything's harder than it used to be. But there's also more opportunities popping up all the time. And is it like the fact that it's harder than it used to be is just means like maybe you need more guidance. Maybe, you know what I mean? And then think about the benefits. The fact that it's harder now means less people are starting. Less people are surviving, and those that do survive and make it to the other side have a great opportunity, right? And I have been on Amazon for 20 years. I've somehow managed to not get banned over 20 years, right? And you hear every day about people getting banned. And so I believe like the number one skill in being an Amazon seller, besides, wanting it and desire, is adaptability. I have adapted. That's what I teach my students to do. Let's see if we can wrap this up here. Irie Blessed. Is that how we say it? Irie Blessed. Yes, I have been trying to connect with local sellers and tried selling on local Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp, and people don't follow up after asking if item is available. Yeah, that happens. So usually if it's an item that's less desirable, you might get some people bullshitting, and then they kind of want it, but they're not coming after you to get it. You know what I mean? So that's usually just a case of the item that you have, and I would just say relist, because when you relist, it shows up at the top, and just stay on it and just list more items. Not everybody is going to want what you have, and there's definitely some bullshitters on there. So you might have to, reach back out to them. I like to reach out on Facebook and give my cell phone number. Whether I'm buying or selling, as soon as I am communicating with another human on Facebook Messenger or Marketplace Messenger, whatever, here's my phone number. Call me. you know, because not everybody checks their phone or they're on the app or like whatever. But if like they see it and they have the phone, they'll call you. They might have got like 5 other messages, you know, think about it from the other way, but one of them gave the phone number so you can call that person. You know what I mean? So again, I'm not an expert on Facebook Marketplace, but I would say that see if you have a community page for the area that you live in, right? Like you know, I don't know, there's several pages for Santa Cruz area where I live in California. Go to that page and then just like make a post like, hey, I am getting started in, you know, selling online and being an entrepreneur or whatever. And just curious if there's any other, you know, entrepreneurs that are just getting started or anybody else that sells, you know, in town on that. And maybe there is, and maybe you can find those people. Also, going to conferences, I'm telling you, you will find these people. So last year, I went to Miami Sellers Conference and I met Jonah Hodges. Super cool dude, wholesale, also teaches wholesale. And I get to talking to him and I'm like, yo, bro, where are you from? And he's like, Santa Cruz. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. You are not from Santa Cruz. And he is. And so it turns out after he went to high school, he moved down south and then moved back or something like that. And so that's why I never met him or whatever, but dude literally lives 5 miles from me, you know what I mean? And now I know someone who's a multi-million-dollar Amazon seller that I can have lunch with, that I can hang out with, because the reality is I don't have a lot of friends like IRL that we're talking about selling or making money. Like I'm a skateboarder. Most of my friends are skateboarders. So when we go skateboarding, we skateboard. We talk about skateboarding. No one wants to hear about business. You know what I mean? Right. And so, and your friends and family are the same way. Like they might even feel like you're bragging when you talk about business or whatever. Like I literally have friends that are like, hey, we're at a barbecue, come over. Don't talk business, please. And I'm like, well, I might as well not come over then. You know what I mean? Like I'm bound to talk business. That's all I know how to talk about. Right. So, but it's great to have those people around you. And you got to find them. You got to find them. Get out in the community, start talking to people, talk to the movers and shakers in your area, and go to those conferences, because you can meet people. And like you might meet someone at a conference that literally becomes your best friend that you talk to every single day in a group message. You know, they don't live near you, but you talk every single day. Right. And I know for a fact a huge hack with retail arbitrage is to have a bunch of these little pods, a bunch of little groups of like 3 people, 5 people, 2 people, 3 people. And then you guys are sharing leads with each other. Tremendous, because you can't share leads in a large platform because they get watered down. You can share them in a small platform with people you trust, right? And when I share, you share. You know what I mean? And then everybody profits. Oh, yeah. Seth has a good point. Seth says, better to master Keepa product finder viewer than to master tactical arbitrage. I mean, I think it's completely different skill sets, but like tactical arbitrage will tell you where to buy a product. Keepa product finder is not telling you where to buy products, right? Keepa will help you identify products, and you can do, you know, basic Google shopping searches or whatever after that, but you know what I mean? Tactical arbitrage will tell you where you can buy them at, right? So, but I mean, still, I saw recently Chris Grant was teaching the infinity leads technique, where using RevSeller, you can copy the store ASINs of like 50 sellers at a time, the store links, and then paste it into Keepa product finder so that you can then search specifically just within those stores. So huge. So huge. Yep. Yeah. That was the next thing I was going to say, Chris, is Keepa product finder export to TA. So yeah, master Keepa product finder, identify, you know what I mean, the products that you want to sell based on either, you know, I'm not an expert at Keepa product finder. OA is not really my play. I like RA, but identify the products that are either selling either higher than normal, right, or at like a crazy volume or whatever, and then use tactical arbitrage to find them with manual as well. But yeah, keep a product finder, export someone's whole store. You know what I mean? Boom. Multiple people's whole stores, but only the products only over, you know what I mean, a certain sales price or a certain sales rank or whatever. And the really cool thing, one thing that I just want to touch on, Keepa product finder, that I think is amazing, is because the results for Keepa Product Finder are just URLs. You can save those URLs and bookmark them and then leave notes, and you can go back to those multiple times, many times in the future. They will, if they produce fruit, if a Keepa Product Finder search result produces fruit once, it'll produce fruit twice. Credit K says we can talk business, man. Well, thank God. I don't know what else to talk about other than that. Who is this? What is this rap song that I'm thinking about? He says something. If we ain't talking about money, homie, let's end the discussion. And I'm not saying that's how I am all the time, but I mean, sometimes, like, you know, what we talking about? Because if we're not talking about making money, then let's just shut up. Unless we're making jokes. If anybody has any more questions, hit me while you got me, because I'm about to break out and go skating for the day. And then tonight, I think I'm going to do a whatnot in the evening. The best way to make money is online. Facts. Being your own boss. Facts. Can I get a fact in the chat? All caps. Fact. Once you see opportunity online, it's really hard to unsee. You can't unsee opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, you cannot unsee opportunity. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things once you finally like immerse yourself in e-commerce, one element, whatever it is, merch by Amazon, sell on Amazon, Facebook market, whatever the hell it is. If you really do any of those, you're going to find other people doing it, and you're going to learn about other ways to make money online as well. And soon enough, you're going to go from how do I make money online to there's so many ways to make money online. Which one do I pick? Because if I don't pick one, I'm just going to be running around like a chicken with my head cut off. You know what I mean? And the reality is all of those ways work, but not if you try to do all of those ways at once. Again, guys, if you need help getting started in your reselling business, you can book a call down below. You can also go to, I'll put a link here if you just want to schedule like a consultation because you just need, a half hour with me. I will put the link right here in the chat right now. This should work. Let me see. Dang it. Why did it not make it clickable? Hold on. Let me try again. It should be clickable. I don't understand why. It's reezy.as.me. It stands for Acuity Scheduling. So if you go there, you can book a consultation with me. I'll be happy to help you with anything with your business. Even if you need help hooking up your printer, I might help you do that. You know what I mean? There's other people that could do it for you as well, but hey, whatever it takes, right? And CD says, how do you pick just one thing? That's the hard thing. You got to pick one. You know what I mean? You got to just pick one and try it. And if it doesn't work out for you and you don't like it, you need to try something else. You know what I mean? It's kind of like how I think about as a parent and putting my kid into extracurricular activities. You try soccer. They don't like it. You try this. They don't like it. You put them in softball. They love it. Okay, cool. Now we're doing softball. You know what I mean? So the 50 off code is just Reezy50, REEZY, and then the number 5 and the number 0. But like CD, if you really want to get into Amazon and you're just learning, I really recommend used books, used media, CDs, DVDs, all that stuff, because it's very cheap and you can learn everything you need to know about Amazon by selling used books, which are very, very cheap. I'm telling you, if you spend 3 to 6 months selling used books on Amazon, 60 to 70% of everything you need to know to sell on Amazon easily. The rest is just minutia, right? But you get to learn it for so cheap. So I'm telling you, try that because it works, right? You know what also works? Going to yard sales, going to thrift stores, going to the Goodwill outlet and selling that crap on eBay, right? Like, and Facebook Marketplace too, when you find certain stuff that might do better there. But like also CD, what's your name, by the way? If you have never been to the Goodwill outlet and you don't know what that is, go immediately. Like search Goodwill outlet near me and go. Just go. You'll have your mind blown. If you have a Goodwill outlet near you and you don't know how to make money online, go to the Goodwill outlet. Start buying crap by the pound and start selling it on eBay. Sell the stuff you can sell on Amazon. Maybe sell some stuff on Whatnot. Maybe sell some stuff on, Facebook Marketplace. Like if you find a cool coffee table at the Goodwill outlet for $10 and you don't want to ship it because it's not anything super special, but you could take nice pictures of it and shine it and put it on Facebook Marketplace for $50 and sell it for $50. And you bought it for $5. And maybe you bought $50 worth of stuff from the Goodwill outlet that day. So by selling that table on Facebook Marketplace, you covered all the inventory you bought that day. Yeah, this is a good pointer from Seth. He said, don't let fear dictate your next business decision, even if that means picking a platform and starting, right? Just start, right? You don't know what's going to happen if you don't start. Amazon FBA sounds better than drop shipping, I guess, a bazillion times better. Let me tell you about drop shipping CD. I don't know a single adult male that's feeding their family with drop shipping, okay? I know lots of 20-somethings that live with their family still or live with a bunch of bros or, you know what I mean, making some money on drop shipping, specifically maybe younger cats selling like the hottest, newest thing for a second before it goes out. But I know 0 men feeding their family off drop shipping. So that should be all you need to know about the long-term feasibility of it. Does anybody agree with me? Like, I mean, I've met some people that make money off drop shipping, but it's like the conversation was like, oh yeah, we do 10 million a year through our entire Amazon and e-commerce business, and we do 350,000 of that is drop shipping, specific niche products that are like higher priced, heavy items that no one else wants to touch. And it's like, yeah, they're not going to stop it because it's profitable, but it's, 5%, 3% of their business. It's not a big part of it. So all these drop shippers on YouTube are lying. I'm not saying they're lying, but I'm saying a lot of them are definitely stretching the truth big time. And also there might be some, clarity here that needs to be made on drop shipping, because drop shipping technically means you're selling it here and then buying it there, usually from AliExpress or whatever, and using Oberlo or DHgate or whatever the hell to automatically send it to them through airmail. Takes a long time. You get bad feedback for people because it's, takes a long time to get there or whatever. But also some people call like print on demand drop shipping. This hat right here, this is print on demand. Avery was going to send me a go-to lister hat, but I didn't like the hats that he had, so I just told him to send me the logo, and then I ordered this hat on Printful, right? And I paid for it, and they made it and sent it to me. But I could very well, for my skateboard brand, flippinsupplyco.com, we have hats, but we don't really have them. You know what I mean? If you buy it from my website, it triggers Printful to make the hat, and they charge me for that, and then it sends it to you, and I get the difference. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's technically drop shipping as well, but it's really just print on demand. And so, there's a lot of good print on demand business opportunities. But drop shipping is not, the way to go. It's also advertising intense, right? You got to spend money on advertising. On Amazon, we're not spending any money on ads. We're not running any ads. We're not creating new products. We're not importing shit from China. We are just selling things that people already want. It's like selling weed on a college campus. All you got to do is have the product and get there to where the customers are, and they're going to buy it. You know what I mean? It's not rocket science. I'm buying things that people already want at a price that when I sell it for the price they want to pay, there's profit left for me. And then I'm putting it on that marketplace where the traffic is already there. Yeah. Yeah. I can see CDs talking about drop shipping and being expensive to run ads and all that. It is. It is. And why would you want to run ads? It's so much harder to sell a product that you have to tell people about. Think about it. There's a reason it's easy to sell weed to college kids, because they know what that product is and they want it already, right? Like if there was some new, like, designer drug chemical that was, let's just say it's legal because it hasn't been classified yet, and I'm selling it to the college kids, that's so much harder because I have to educate them, you know what I mean, on this product and then sell it, right? Or I have to run ads to them so they have brand awareness or product awareness, right? It's a lot easier to just sell stuff that people already want. Airy, sorry, I missed the metaphor, the explanation on how to sell it. Say your name. Sorry about that. But Airy says, can you ship your stuff to Amazon or other platforms to have them sell it on their platform? So you can. Amazon has fulfillment by Amazon, meaning they store it at their warehouse and ship it to your customers, to their customers. They're not ours, for you when it sells, right? They charge you pennies on the dollar to store it, and then they ship it out. And generally, you make more sales faster when your products are fulfilled by Amazon. Also, once it's fulfilled by Amazon and at their warehouse, you are able to sell it on other platforms and then issue an order for Amazon to ship it out to those customers as well. It doesn't ship out as fast as Prime, but you do have that option. Walmart also has an FBA-like thing called WFS, Walmart Fulfillment Services. So if you guys are watching, please hit the like button real quick. Just smash that real quick. Smash it. Smosh it. Just give it a little tickle. Tickle that like button real quick, please. There's 123 people watching, and it looks like we only have 2. Oh, these likes are on Facebook. Why is it so weird? Facebook, we got 2 likes. YouTube, we got, how many we got on YouTube? We got 11 so far. I'm going to need that. Those are 16. Those are rookie numbers. I'm going to need that up to 20 at least, guys. At least. Any more questions, guys? Let me know if you have any questions. I want to start doing these more often, too, and I'm curious what would be a good time for any of you guys. This is a weird time slot, like in the middle of the day. People are at work. Maybe some of you are at work, but you're able to access, your phone or your computer, and so you're able to watch. I really wanted to do a stream, and so I just wasn't, too sure on time, but I really wanted to get it going, and so also let's do this. I should have did this. Let's see this. One second. So I just remembered that there's the super chat goal. And so I just set a goal to get 5 super chats in the next 15 minutes. And if we reach that goal, I will do multiple live streams per week. So there's even a chance that I could do like 5, like Monday through Friday. I've definitely thought about that. I don't know if I would do an hour each day, maybe like 30 minutes. But I would love to be here more often and answer questions for those of you that maybe can't afford, a consultation or a course, or just have some questions, and need a little boost to get you going. Yeah, I blessed. You can contact me either by, you can book on a consultation for 30 minutes from that link, reezy.as.me. Or you can just shoot me a message on Facebook Messenger or Instagram. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't have DMs, right? That would be cool. Again, a reminder, guys, Miami Sellers Conference is in 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks. If you can make it to Miami, I highly recommend you going to this conference. You will meet so many like-minded people. You will be able to spend a lot of time with all of the speakers and influencers that are there, developing relationships, networking. There's a lot of different software providers there. You can talk to them directly. There's multiple after parties, so the networking is crazy. There's a yacht event. Like, it's insane. Also, if you can't afford to make it to the conference, let me give you guys a little hack, a little hacky hack for all conferences. If you ever want to go to a conference but you cannot afford it, find out what hotel the conference is being hosted at, right? Find out where, and if it's not hosted at a hotel but at like a place, find out what hotel most people at the conference are staying at. So usually on the event page, it will say like the recommended hotel, right? That's usually where the speakers are staying as well. And what you want to do is go to that hotel and go there in the evening. So I'm not saying crash the event and just like break in, although sometimes no one's checking for tickets or whatever, so maybe. But what I am saying is you're free to go to the bar in the hotel lobby. You're free to go to the hotel lobby. You're free to dress up like you were attending or plan to attend the conference, but just go to the hotel lobby and bar and network with people before and after the event, during the lunch maybe, right? Many people have made many network connections doing that. So if you want to get some benefit, especially if you live really close but can't afford to go to a conference, just go. Just show up and just talk to people. You know what I mean? You don't have to say you're there for the conference and lie, but I'm just saying, like, pretend like you're there for the conference without saying it and just start talking to people and networking. Irie says it has to be all new merchandise. So Amazon does allow the sale of some used items. So you got media like books, CDs, DVDs. You also have electronics. And there is some other item categories, but it's not stuff I would recommend. Like, you can technically sell used shoes on Amazon, but I wouldn't recommend it. But those are the categories that I know a lot of people sell in used. So CDs, books, DVDs, records, and electronics. I love selling used electronics because electronics have a model number, so you can look them up very easily. Junkman, the conference in Miami, it is May 1st to 3rd. So the mixer is the Wednesday, that is the last day of this month. And then the event is all day the next 2 days. There's an after party after each day, like so Thursday, Friday, after party after each day. And then Saturday is the bonus yacht trip. So there's a mixer on Wednesday. The event is all day Thursday and Friday with speakers. After party after each day. Both of the days of the conference are catered, right? And usually the after parties have food as well. So it's so fun. It's so fun. And the chances that you don't meet one person that's amazing for your business or learn one, at least one thing that's amazing for your business is literally zero. Yep, Chris knows. Check it out. Chris says the hallways are usually the best part of conferences anyways. He's 100% right. And you know why? Because who's in the hallway? Not the people who bought tickets to see people speak. The people who are in the hallway are the speakers who are getting ready to go into the next, to be the next speaker. They are the other influencers that are there. They are the software owners. The movers and shakers are in the hallway. They're not even in the event unless it's, their turn to speak, or maybe they're going to go hear the headliner or whatever. So, like, even when I go to YouTube conferences, like, yes, there are some people I go and watch them speak, but I'd rather hang out in the hallway and talk to the people who are in the hallway. They're usually higher value people to network with. And so when I go to a conference and they sell the videos of the event, I always buy it because that just makes me comfortable in knowing I'm not going to miss anything. So now I don't have to rush over here or over there, because sometimes there's two people speaking at once, right? I'll watch the videos later and I'll do the networking in the meantime. Imagine you're a content creator. It's very important for you to create content with all the other content creators that are around you during that time. You know what I mean? Like, leverage the fact that, you have a lot of people around you and, watch the videos later. Hey, Priscilla, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. We are now 1/5 of the way to our goal of getting 5 super chats. And as a reward, I will do another live stream this week like this if we hit the goal of hitting 5 super chats. I've never done that before, the super chat goal thing. I don't use all the YouTube features, but I should. There is really cool stuff. Like I could have like a disco ball that's linked to YouTube, and when the super chat comes in, the disco ball goes off or whatever, or confetti cannon shoots me in the face, or that would be less interesting for me. Oh wow. This is a great post by Junkman. It says Steven Eisenstein. If you don't know who Steven Eisenstein is, he's basically the Einstein of antiquarian books as far as book goes, used books go. So he's a double OG, if not a triple OG from the antiquarian book niche, and he knows everything about antiquarian books. And he's talking about send me a link on Instagram, Junkman. I would appreciate it, or even just comment a link on this video, and I think it will get banned automatically, but I'll be able to see it in the banned section. I don't know. Figure it out. Link me up. I really want to look at this. Where's he posting about this at? Maybe in the Book Flipper group? Talking about units of good books in Miami that will be abandoned on May 7th. Go fill up boxes and ship to yourself. Sounds amazing. Usually when I go to these things, I'm so tight on schedule. And Miami has a crazy skate park that I'm trying to sneak away and go skate while I'm there. So I don't know if I'll be able to break away and do any work. I'm already, I got to miss one of my daughter's softball games on Thursday for Miami. And she has another game on Sunday evening. And I'm just so hoping I can make it back early enough on Sunday to not miss the second game. So unfortunately, we don't always have a ton of time to do stuff like that. On his Facebook page and Vintage Antiques Rare group. Awesome. Thank you, Junkman. I appreciate you for that. Really, really appreciate you. Appreciate you. Anybody else got any questions? Let me know if you have any questions based around reselling, Amazon, AI, anything except for politics. We can talk about it. How about that? Can't post comments to some destinations. Read, post. Read. Huh. It looks like some Facebook users are not able to post. I already talked about tariffs earlier, bro. I already did. This is a tricky subject, but I managed to tiptoe my way through it. We'll see. I have a lot of faith in China folding. I'll just summarize my thoughts on that one. We don't need China as bad as they need us. Bottom line, we'll be all right without the newest iPhone for a year, if it comes to that. Evenings, 6 or 7. Awesome. Yeah, thank you for the time recommendation. I appreciate that. 5, 6, or 7. Oh, also, what time are you? East Coast or West Coast or Mid Coast? Midwest. Mid Coast. So when you say 6 or 7, do you mean 6 or 7 California or 6 or 7 New York? Also, how long do you guys think it will take me to solve this Rubik's Cube? Let's see if I can do it in a minute or less. Almost done. Oh, here we go. Yay. And somehow we gained viewers in that 1 minute. Somehow we gained viewers. That's not right. I was expecting to see viewers drop off. Y'all are too kind for that. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you so much, Priscilla. I appreciate that. Another one. You're so nice. So nice. Those will be explicitly used to drink the dankiest West Coast IPAs known to man. David Naylor says, hey, Reezy, Nike Mask Gatings. I was one of them. I just ordered 100 units to apply again. Your thoughts? Are you in the same boat? So I talked about this earlier on the call, but I'll just run through it again. I am, and I was and am or were or whatever. So I faced a regating in Nike back in November of 2024, right? Early enough that it was like just past 6 months. And I beat that. It was only 10 units at the time, right? And I used soccer.com invoice, Nike shin guard stays. Oh my God, Priscilla, thank you so much. You're the best. And then after that, I was faced with the new situation, but I didn't get an email like you guys did. So a lot of you are receiving that email that says like, hey, we want to limit this to people who have consistent volume and quantity and blah, 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 blah. That's the message you most likely got. I did not get that message, but other people did. Other people lost the brands, and I do teach, so I hear a lot from other people, right? And so I was like, I didn't get a message, but I went and checked, and sure enough, I did lose Nike. Now, this was about 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 by now. And in order, when I could still apply though, right? And so I don't know if you remember, but like 3 or 4 weeks ago, this happened again. Like what you're experiencing right now happened. Oh my God, we hit the goal. Thank you, Priscilla. I appreciate you so much. This means we're going to do another Q&A live stream this week. So back to what I was saying was I didn't get the email and I could still apply, but most people that lost it overnight that night got an email that said, they couldn't reapply and and it was just hard gated lost, but I could still reapply. So I reapplied, and it was 100 units, and I did use soccer.com, the same product, the shin guard stays, and I did have to do the dance with Amazon back and forth like a gazillion times before they accepted it, and wait till I get auto-denied, and then get on the phone a bunch of times, and blah, blah, blah. So I was able to get it back, right? And also several of my students did get the same notice, and they were able to get it back as well using the soccer.com 100 units. Just make sure that as soon as you get your order confirmation email that you reply and ask for an invoice for record keeping purposes. Very, very important. But it's not impossible. And the good news is the people that make it to the other side are going to have a tremendous advantage, tremendous advantage. Any time in history that since I've been selling on Amazon and big brands have gone hard gated, the people who retained the ability to sell that brand throughout the next period of it being hard gating cleaned up like bandits. Here we go. Prosper the Poet says, what's a simple way to start slowly scaling? Been flipping used media 2.5 years, have a few grand saved up and ready to grow. I'm just not sure what direction to go. So having a few grand saved up is not super huge. That's usually what I recommend people start retail arbitrage with. So maybe you start scaling into retail arbitrage, which is going to be much more expensive average cost for you per item, but the average profit, like dollars paid out per item, is going to be higher. So the percentage ROI is going to look terribly abysmal compared to books, but the dollar return is going to actually be better. And so that's my first piece of advice to you, is to slowly start using that savings capital to go into categories that have a higher cost of goods and are more likely to pay a higher dollar per sale profit, even though the ROI percentage-wise might be less than what you're used to. The other thing I would think about is I would maybe consider looking into Whatnot as the live streaming platform, just because I've never seen a platform that allows you to turn your money over and scale it as fast as that. So Whatnot, as soon as you sell 1,000 items on Whatnot, you gain the ability to have instant payout, which means as soon as the show's over and you print the shipping labels, you get the money and you can spend it, send it to your bank account. It's in PayPal instantly, etc. Have a PayPal debit card, whatever, ready to go. And so when it comes to scaling, I think about how beneficial that is. And we even had someone on the call earlier. Let me see if I could bring it up. Who was it? If you're still here, say shout out again real quick so I can bring it up. I think it was not Junk Man. It was one sec. I'm just going up. Not the ATL flippers. It was, where's it at? Oh, I lost it. Oh, no, it was ATL flippers. My bad. So ATL flippers, they said that selling on Whatnot for them is game changer because it's such a faster turnaround, even though they're making less per item. So I think having faster turnaround to grow your capital faster, you know what I mean? So that you could then experiment with more higher cost of goods, higher dollar payout items. I think that's where you should go. If not, stay in used media, but just transition to a way where you can turn it over faster. Prosper the Poet says same for 5K. Um, for 5K, yeah. I mean, if you are comfortable with what you're doing and you purely want to do something else that's more scalable, with that 5,000, that's a great amount of capital to start going into wholesale. So unfortunately, I don't do wholesale and I can't teach wholesale, but I can give you someone that was a student of mine in the past that I really trust to teach wholesale. They have been in my reselling academy, done a live call about wholesale, helping others. So let me see if I can just get the link.com for them. One second. So their Instagram is Operation Amazon. It's Brad and Brandon. And the link, I'm going to try to share a link here real quick. It probably won't be clickable, but it might be. Why is it never clickable? No, that's clickable. Let's see if that worked. Did it work? Well, I'm not logged into Amazon to Instagram on the computer. Let's see. I think it's Operation AMZ. Instagram. Let me check real quick. Yep, Brad and Brandon, Operation AMZ. If you need to know about wholesale, reach out to them and tell them Reezy sent you, because they'll give you a deal on the consultation and they might send me a little bonus. What's up, 131 of you on the live stream? I love you guys. Smash that high five button. Can everybody hit the high five button real quick? Please smash the high five button. But if you want to look into something more scalable like wholesale, I would really recommend talking to them, because that's their forte, right? So I've done a little bit of wholesale, but that's all they do, right? And multi-million-dollar annual Amazon sellers through wholesale. Very relatable. And those guys started with retail arbitrage. So they had over $1 million a year retail arbitrage business before they switched and started, not switched, but before they slowly started scaling into wholesale. And now they do almost entirely wholesale. So if you want wholesale information, I would recommend talking to those boys. Very, very intelligent. And also, too, they're newer to teaching. So they're not like, they're not charging the prices that some of these more established wholesale teachers are charging. Not to piss on anybody's parade or whatever, but I'll be coming up with these crazy euphemisms. Not rain on the parade, not piss on your leg, piss on your parade. Sorry to piss on your parade. No offense anybody, because there are so many great teachers, and you know what I mean? Like, I hire coaches, right? So like, you can save time. You know what I mean? If you can't afford to have a coach, then you could learn for free, YouTube University, like the rest of us, and just start making some mistakes and making some progress, taking action, right? But if you can afford help and you want it, I'd say it's worth expediting your journey and getting, to your goal much, much faster and making much less mistakes. Sometimes mistakes you make might actually result in you giving up, right? And you could have avoided those maybe with a coach. Again, guys, Miami Sellers Conference is coming up. We're less than 3 weeks away. I think we're like 2 weeks and some change away. There's a link in the description for $50 off your ticket if you could make it. I would love to see you. Shout out again to Listister for sponsoring this live stream. If you want a free 30-day trial of the best listing software for Amazon sellers, it is in the description. Just go to gotolister.com/Reezy. I'll actually put that link in the chat real quick. www.gotolister.com. And also, I'm sure you guys know, those of you that actually sell on Amazon, that there's been a lot of updates with Amazon's API, and the listing softwares are kind of broken. They're not all, they're all trying different things to come up to speed and function properly again. And so it's a great time to try a new listing software. And what's better than a free 30-day trial? Nothing, right? I guess just money. Just click here and I'll give you money for free. But yeah, free 30-day trial, next best thing. Oh, your suggestion, streaming between 6 and 7 Pacific time. Perfect. That works perfect for me. That's either right before or right after dinner. Great, great time. All right, guys, I'm going to run. We've been up for like an hour and 40 minutes. I thank all of you guys for hanging out. Everybody that left comments, especially everybody that sent tips, which is everybody is Priscilla Beecham. Big shout out to Priscilla Beecham for also sending $5 super chats and helping us reach our goal. Maybe we should have made a bigger goal. Next one we'll do a bigger goal. It's fun to have a goal. I definitely want to get some kind of like disco light that goes off or something when the super chats come in. Like those are fire. If you know anybody that live streams that has one of those like devices that does stuff when people super chat, comment on this video and let me know so that I can get some ideas, because I want to get, I don't know, how cool would it be if like the $5 super chat sends, the light goes off, and that the $20 super chat just like bangs me in the face with a glitter cannon or something. Oh God, that'd be hilarious. All right, guys, I'll see you in Miami. If you have any questions, comment down below. Hit me up on Instagram. And just remember, guys, if you ain't flipping, you slipping. Peace.